Yeah, Devin, I think unique in that I think he can fit us when he comes back this year, but also somebody that we can see fitting whatever form we take 5, 6, 7 years in the future. And I think a little bit of what we've seen in the NBA now, where these kind of do it all guards, wings. I mean, he's like 6'9", wingspan, and obviously his dad played in the NBA, so he knows what it's about. But I think that kind of versatility defensively and then offensively, he showed in college the ability to put the ball on the ground, go to the basket, shoot from outside. Really big improvement this year. We're bummed he's not playing here at Summer League and maybe for the start of the season, but when he does come back, I think he's going to make a big impact and just be a very good complement to what we're already building, and then hopefully continue to grow his game, and sky's the limit for him.
And court is back in session on a Monday. How's everybody doing? Ryan and Sacktown coming to you live on If You Don't Like That. Hope you had a good weekend. It was a historic weekend for some of the wrong reasons. This is a sports show. We're going to talk sports and keep it in that realm. However, I will address a couple things right off the top. But first, I want to thank Bennett's Westside Grill for sponsoring us today. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Find out more about their other locations and specials. Also, Grant, myself, we are back 8 o'clock tonight. Make sure you join us here on If You Don't Like That. Again, I mean, we literally have a buffet of sports to talk about. On top of it, you've got your typical summertime lists that are coming out. My boy C-Dog hit me up, by the way, about one that I was already looking at. So thank you to Connor for hitting me up. We'll get to that one maybe today. You guys can take the show any way you want as well. And don't forget, it is a Ry-doe Monday. So that's what that spinning wheel is right there to the bottom right of the screen. If you got anything that's bugging you or caught your eye, we'll put it on the Ry-doe wheel. We can hit that. And yes, I know, Vlad, still recovering from Friday. What an experience. By the way, if you think Haunted Horse, his voice booms over the camera and over the mic, you should hear it in real life. Dude is loud, let me tell you, but it was great getting caught up with him, having him in Elk Grove. So a lot to pick from. The Kings Summer League, that time of year, a lot going on in Vegas. They're back in action tonight, 7 o'clock. If you want to check that out, ESPN Plus and maybe ESPNU. Not 100% sure on that. But like I said, I do want to just start really quick. We're not going to get into politics. We're not going to get into figures, but I do want to acknowledge this because I've gotten a lot of tweets from some of you. I've gotten some emails about it, some DMs. We all know something historic happened this weekend for the wrong reasons. The only thing that I would say is take a deep breath if you're talking to somebody that has an opposite view of you, that may not agree with you. And instead of trying to think about a way to overturn what they're saying and actually actively listen, have your question programmed in already. Just have it programmed in already. It's really simple. When they stop talking, ask the question why. And listen, try to understand each other. I mean, look, what do we do here on the King's Court? We debate sports. We debate moves that teams make. We debate baseball cards, cats, dogs, whatever it may be. And a lot of it, most of it, in fact, all of it is usually in good fun. But I know for me, I had to sit down and talk to my son and say, this is something that, I hope you never see again in your lifetime, but It's historic. So let's take a moment just to kind of tone things down, chill out, try to be more tolerant, and acknowledge how lucky a lot of people are and how lucky we are to be Americans here in this nation. So I'm going to leave it at that. Let's come together. Let's have a great day of sports and get on it. Where do you want to start? How about the Copa America? By the way, that was Monty McNair at the beginning of the show. Great conversation with him and Jason Ross, aired on the Carmichael Dave show. You can go check that out online. Check that out after the show. Wait till then. Monty had a couple of interesting sound bites that I want to play in a little bit, in addition to what we heard, specifically talking about the Kings and what might be next, what moves might be coming for them, or is that roster set? What does the front office think of it right now? What do all of you think of it? I know Grant thinks that it would not be the greatest thing in the world to roll into opening day with this roster, but now a lot of the attention turns, and we talked about this a little bit on Friday. And that was a fun show, by the way. The end of the show was a lot of fun. This is becoming a new thing. I think Horace hit it on the head when he said Royal Rumble, when we just bring up as many people as we can. I don't know. We'll try to market it, have fun with it. But good job by everybody who hopped in there. I think what did we go? 6 deep, 7 deep? Yeah. So is this Kings roster complete? I don't know. What I do know is, watching Summer League, there's certain things that I take with me, and there's certain things that I don't pay attention to, because a lot of times you are not playing, and I've said it many times, against NBA talent. Am I a little bit loud, Zakara? Too loud? Let me know. Sounds good to you? Not at all? All right. Monitoring the audio. Maybe Haunted Horse did something. I mean, he was shaking my table left and right. I didn't know what to do. The damn bobblehead behind me is jumping up and down. Haunted Horse says Royal Rumble Friday. Yeah, don't worry, dude. I got something for you in the Ry-doe wheel. Just saying. But getting back to what I was saying with Summer League, something that is really concerning me right now, because you look at the names at the top of the list on this Kings roster, the ones that might get a little bit of run during the season, some that might even be starters on this team once we roll around to October. And there's one thing that translates, whether it's Summer League, whether it's the California Classic, whether it's regular seasons, it's this: turnovers, y'all. Turnovers. Are you concerned, like I am, about the amount of turnovers that we're seeing from some of the regulars? The names that you know, check this out. Mason Jones turning the ball over 3 times a game right now in Summer League. Okay, not a huge deal for Mace, because he's more of a two-way. He's going to spend most of the time probably in Stockton. But as we roll down the list, how about Colby Jones? He's struggling too. He can't find his shot. Turnovers aren't as bad. But as I get down to Boogie Ellis, I know he's not expected to make the roster, but still, 5 turnovers a game. You know what's even more concerning? Keon Ellis, 5 turnovers a game. That can't happen. You are not playing against pressure defense. You are not playing against NBA elite defenders. The turnovers have to stop. And I get that you have to have some time to come together and mesh, but Summer League's only a couple weeks long. And I don't want to come away from Summer League worrying about turnovers. I want to come away from it. And I know we're already kind of a little bit behind the 8 ball, because Devin Carter, who is in Vegas, is not playing. But I don't want to come away from Summer League with a bad feeling about this. Turnovers were already a point of contention last year, even though they improved a little bit as the season went on. It's got to improve. I don't care if the Kings lose by 20 the rest of the way this summer. I want to see turnovers go down, because Keon Ellis is somebody, if he's going to be in the starting lineup, and I know he flourished late last year, he's going to have to elevate his game that much more, because now there is tape out on Keon Ellis. So I don't want to make a big deal out of nothing, but I would certainly pay attention to turnovers right now. As I said, the Kings back in action tonight at 7 o'clock. If you want to check that out, let's get to the chat really quick, see what everybody is up to. In fact, you can call the show as well. I will put that link in the chat again. I will put up the QR code as well. Remember, Grant and I, we're going to be back at 8 o'clock tonight. So taking your phone calls, talking a lot. And we haven't even hit on Copa America yet. What the hell is going on in Miami. We thought it was bad that players had to go into the stands to defend their families. And then you have people, fans. I mean, do we call them fans? Is fans the right word when you're rushing security, you're breaking through the gates, you're running around in circles? Oh, and by the way, if you don't feel like running a cop over, what are you doing instead? Climbing through vents? What was most troubling to me about that is the World Cup is going to be here in America in 2 years. Miami is going to be a hotbed. That is a location that will be hosting World Cup games. That cannot happen. And it was a massive fail on behalf of the Copa setup, security, whoever is running the show. You knew that that was going to happen. Things were escalating, not chilling out. So the way it's looking, if you're a parent and you want to take your kid to a World Cup game, are you even thinking about it at this point? I mean, it's got to bring a little bit of anxiety to your mind. And people make trips out of this. They travel across the nation, they travel across the world. And when all eyes are on America, especially this weekend, not a good look. In fact, if you did not see it live, I've got some audio for you really quick from this weekend. This was the fans climbing through vents and breaking through the security gates to try to get into the stadium without a ticket.
What's going on here? People are getting into the Copa America through the ventilation system. What is going on here? What the heck? People are still climbing. It's like 9 p.m. here. People are climbing the fence. I don't know if they have tickets. I think more people are going there. I don't know. But people are just climbing it. What is going on? Cancel the event.
Okay, so you are not looking at what I'm looking at. I am watching people climb over the walls at Hard Rock Stadium, literally using the awning from Will Call as a ladder to get over the gates. I don't know. I mean, you had to play the game, I guess, but what a bad look. What did everybody think about that? And I haven't even talked about the game yet. I've got something for soccer too. In fact, I texted Grant last night and I'm sitting here and, it was gratuitous. It was generous of me to wait for a soccer game because I'm not a soccer fan, but I knew all of the eyes of the sporting world and really the world were going to be on Miami. And I wanted to see Messi. I wanted to see if he could bring another championship to Argentina. And trying in the first 5 minutes to watch this match was nearly impossible for many different reasons. I'll lay them out in a little bit. But the text I sent Grant is, why do I keep giving soccer another chance? Like, at some point, it's just on me. And this is like the elite level of soccer, right? I don't know. Soccer fan, dial me in. Help me understand. I understand that when you go to a game, you enjoy it and you also get a workout. By the way, soccer fan, probably it's kind of like the Peloton for the rest of the world. I tweeted this out. That's where the inventor of Peloton probably got the idea. He saw people watching something, getting really involved, jumping up and down, running, chanting, working out, sweating, going as hard as the players on the field. 80,000 deep. It's a cool atmosphere when everybody's in their seats and it's organized. But beyond that, America's going to have to get this figured out before the World Cup. As I said, you can call the show. We'll get to your chats in a second. Let's bring in our man, our wrestling correspondent too. Adam, what's up, dude?
What's up, my man? How are you?
Doing great. How you doing today?
I'm good. Happy Monday to you. Back at it.
Happy Monday.
Yes, sir. I just have a Ry-doe for you today.
Yes.
So my family was back in Sacramento visiting, our families and stuff like that. And they brought me home a gift. And obviously I'm a Kings fan, so they brought me something Kings related, but what do you think that thing might be?
Cowbell.
I wish. A freaking garbage can Come
A
on.
garbage can. Wow,
Come
that's
on.
like passive aggressive, Adam.
I know, like shots fired.
Whoa.
So I'm sitting here in my office with my
With
new
your garbage
Kings
can. I mean, what do you do
garbage
with it? I mean, that's kind of rough. You gotta maybe use it as like a planter or do something fun
Yeah.
with it. You can't
Yeah,
just
we
put
got to get more
trash in it.
creative. Yeah, I know. That was brutal. So anyway, that's my
Did they fly or
Ry-doe.
did they drive?
Yeah, they flew.
They flew. So they
Yeah.
probably flew with a garbage can. in their
Yep.
arms.
In the suitcase, yeah.
Love
Jammed
it.
full of other stuff. But yeah, I was like, oh, thanks. Are you hinting at something about my favorite team, or what are we doing here? What's the thought
What are we
process behind
doing?
this?
What are we
So,
doing? Very cool.
It's the thought that counts, I suppose, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, sometimes no gift is better than a bad gift, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, you can
Yeah.
tell sometimes when a gift is a little bit, I don't know, rushed. I mean, you're almost better to just get the gift card, bite the bullet, and say, yeah, I forgot. I mean, does a
Yeah.
gift card just basically say, I forgot?
I mean, it's not like there were brand new DeMar DeRozan jerseys out there
Sure.
at the team
Sure.
store or something like that, but
Sure.
we got a garbage can instead.
Yeah, but those jerseys these days, man, they're steep, dude. Those
Yeah.
are expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't, they're not the cheapest things that are out there, but so I don't know if I'm going to go with a DeMar, a new Sabonis here with the number 11 on it, but we'll see. Got to get something new for the new season.
Yeah, for sure. And the NBA over-unders on win totals have been released by one sports book. We've got those here. What do you think the Kings are at for the season right now?
I'll go 47.
Pretty close. 45.5 right now is what
Yeah.
the Kings are at. So everybody else, are you going over or under 45.5 wins for the Kings this season?
I will go over. I think we feel good about the trade, and I think we still got some more moves to make. But I think I think they did. All right. So 2 years ago we won 48, and last year we won 46. But also the Western Conference is way healthier this year, and all things considered, losing to New Orleans 6 times in a row, we were still right there with a good Western Conference. So I think if we improved, we should be over 46 wins from last season.
Yeah, I think getting DeMar DeRozan, assuming that you're going to be more healthy than last year, you've got to be over 46. I actually think the number might be a little low. That might be a good line. Some of the other teams set around 45.5, Adam. Pacers are at 45.5. That one surprised me.
I'll take
Pelicans,
the over there.
45.5. And then this one, check this out, everybody. The Grizzlies, 46.5.
Grizzlies are a weird one. I don't think we got to see very much out of them last season, obviously, but they're a good team when Ja's there and playing for them. So I don't know if you can count them out. A couple changes there for those guys as well, but 46.5, he said.
46.5. It's a big number coming off of their win total last year. I get Ja Morant was out. I get Steven Adams obviously out. Now he's replaced by Zach Edey, but that's a big jump. 46.
Well, something's got to give with all these Western Conference teams, because not everyone's going to have 45 wins, right? So who's going to be on the bottom half of that conference? And I like to think that the Kings would be a little bit better than Memphis next year, but I guess we'll see.
We will see, buddy. Last thing, really quick. Anything over the weekend in wrestling that needs to be addressed?
No, nothing really over the weekend.
Right.
SmackDown was all right. But I'm looking forward to tonight. We've got the return of Drew McIntyre coming back from his week-long suspension. And then who else? mommy's coming back
Mommy.
tonight. And
Mommy.
so I'm really looking forward to that one. It should be a good one tonight.
For sure, brother. Well, hey, I agree. Some people are saying your parents are telling you something about the team you root for, LOL. But no, do something fun with the trash can, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, Derek had a suggestion. Throw a bunch of Lakers cards in there. There you go.
Yeah.
Get a couple from BJ. Just
Yeah.
toss them in. You're good to go, man.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea to me. Maybe we'll throw some Lakers cards in there and set it on fire.
There you go.
Yes, Jacob Fatu is money. Derek, I like that guy a lot. If there's anyone from the new bloodline, I think it's that dude. Also, Solo's mic skills have gotten a little bit better, I feel like.
Oh, I don't.
A little bit.
It's so predictable. It's so bad. Get the guy a different outfit. Again, looks like a Uber driver or a limo driver. Like, come on. They've got to do better than that. And then obviously it seems like Roman's going to be coming back. So we will see.
I'm curious to see where that goes. And, Paul Heyman's MIA here for a little bit, but I don't know. I could see a scenario where, maybe they reform the bloodline with Jay and Jimmy and Roman and Paul, and then they feud with the new bloodline.
100%. That's where it's got to go.
Yeah, sort of like that, Wolfpack NWO.
Bingo.
Back in the day.
Last thing, and then I'm going to let you go. I got caught in the YouTube rabbit hole this weekend, and this video came up. It's only been up for a couple months. There's this new page that I guess back in the 90s, they created a lot of the WWE games. They have like backstage footage, just unedited, of like Undertaker, HBK, all these different guys basically on this big mat, like filming like different moves for the wrestling game. It's so weird to watch. It's like, why am I watching this? But I can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
Super funny. Go find it.
100%. Yeah. Throw it in the chat or something like that. Let us know. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. All right, brother. Thanks for the call.
Cool. Thanks,
right,
my man. Have a good day.
You're welcome. That is Adam, our WWE correspondent. Good to have him here. Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about these win totals if you want in a second. Also, there's definitely a lot more stuff besides the Ry-doe wheel that I want to get to. Why is the Ry-doe wheel the only thing that's up right now? I should be up here. Come on now, Restream. By the way, we went through some major changes with our accounts right now. If you are a streamer, since we talk about streaming all the time, I guess that's not going to work. We're going to have to go this way. Since we talk about streaming all the time, since Grant and I do that on If You Don't Like That right here live, you have to be a premium member of X now. A premium member of X to be able to stream to X. So if any of you are podcasting, doing anything like that, start getting your applications in for your blue check marks. Mason, I don't disagree with you. I do think the Kings are tougher than they present. I think there is a level of toughness there that doesn't always come across on the court. I don't think you have to bring in a bully to be not punchable anymore. But yes, I think that is a narrative that certainly has been going along and around this team as of late. By the way, the NBA Cup, the groups have been announced. I don't have them in front of me. I will pull them up. The Kings are in a group with the Pelicans and a couple of other Western Conference teams. I believe it's Utah, and I'll verify the last one. Golden State and the Mavs are in the same one, so they're going to have the Clay, Steph stuff. So we'll get to those here in a little bit. Mark, we already got to the parents. Sea-Dog, Ry-doe, Bronny James. He's in a slump when he's playing to his college averages, right? And do we think that knee injury is legitimate? I don't want to play conspiracy theory here, but the timing of it's curious. The fact that now there's reports coming out that Bronny is okay with being open to developing down in the G League should have been the thing all along. We've been saying that for a really long time. Bronny has been put in an impossible situation. And quite frankly, I don't think you can really blame Bronny for that situation, that's got to fall back on his dad. And as much as, yes, you get him drafted, are you really setting him up for success? I think you can actually argue the opposite. I mean, the ceiling for his expectations because of his last name would have already been astronomical. But then you draft him when he shouldn't have been drafted. Poor kid, man. And it's not a good look. Yes, when you are struggling in summer league, I mean, his shooting percentage, he's only scored like 4 points, I want to say. Jake hopping in about his Fox jersey. I have a Fox jersey, but yes, it is expensive. Those jerseys, man, they are not cheap. The only jersey that I would probably get at this point would be if they came back out with the 2002 purple ones. The 2002 all purple, sick uniform that had the silver lining and everything. And then I would probably get a Christmas Day one. If the Kings get a Christmas Day game, that would be pretty cool. That would be a hot ticket here in Sacktown. Derek hopping back in a all black DeRozan jersey would be sweet. Well, go get one. They make whatever you want. You can put your own last name on a jersey if you want to. You're this trash can, man. It's getting too much run right now. Yeah, take a dump in the trash can. Ironically, I know somebody that's done that. Derek, he's going over 45 and a half. Jake agrees. Zakara, really, you want to go there? 51 and 31. You think that's going to be the Kings number? Interesting. As long as we don't have to play the Pelicans 46 times. Well, you will see them a little bit extra if they're in your NBA Cup group, likely. Kings going 52 this year. Let's talk about that really quick, because a lot of us, and I've not been shy about saying it, didn't think the Kings are done with their moves this offseason, and they very well might not be done. But you remember last week when we were talking about DeMar DeRozan and Monty McNair in the introductory press conference, there were a couple times that Monty went back and said Kevin Huerter. So in the conversation that Jason Ross had with Monty McNair about the Kings and what they may still do this offseason, I found this interesting. Here's Monty.
That this is probably the core of the group that we'll go into training camp with. But yeah, potentially 1 or 2 more roster spots. I think we're going to take our time a little bit and see there. Probably be more wing forward big.
Okay, probably be more wing forward big. So if this is probably the unit they roll into training camp with, I don't hate it. It's better than it was last year. You still have flexibility, which earlier in the conversation, Monty talked about specific to draft night, and then even in free agency going to get DeMar. But Kevin Huerter, his name was also brought up in this conversation. So I think Kevin Huerter may be in the long-term plans, or at least the interim plans, I should say, for this team, and could be up until the All-Star break. Hell, Kevin's value, something we don't talk about. If he comes back from this injury and he has a quote-unquote resurgence, a renaissance, if he comes off the bench, that shoots his value way up and could really help the Kings more than probably what his value is now. But that also means the flip side of that. He's got to play another half season with everybody talking about, are you going to be traded? And he's on record saying it was already one of the hardest seasons of his career, which I understand. Yes, it's a business, but not knowing where you are going to be day to day is not probably the easiest thing in the world to deal with. So how is Kevin going to bounce back from that? Jacob Fatu is money. That dude is pretty good. He's pretty big, no doubt. His head movements are like George the Animal Steel. Damn, are we pulling old wrestler references now? The Animal, man, ripping up signs, eating them up. Zakara, did you see what Enes Kanter said about LeBron? He called LeBron a dictator of the NBA. No, I did not see that, but it doesn't surprise me. He has been on the record before talking about LeBron, and quite frankly, he's really not wrong. LeBron kind of is in a way. He's either your best friend or your worst nightmare. It's usually not anywhere in between. Let's see. Haunted Horse, man, you are taking over the chat right now. Flores, what's up, man? I'm saying the Kings will have a similar record based on their current roster, 46-36. Yeah, you do have to think about that. I mean, Adam brought up New Orleans. You probably don't lose to them 6 times. But I also don't expect the Kings to lose to bad teams as many times as they did last year. And if they do, then, and especially at the beginning of the season, that's going to be a bigger problem because you've got DeMar DeRozan in the locker room now. You have a guy that allows you to play in the half court, something the Kings struggled mightily at last year. And really, it also brings a new level to me of accountability. This dude's locked in. You all heard his press conference. I've said if I had to summarize it in one word, the word is genuine. This guy's not here to get another contract, to get another $74 million. This guy is here to win, and I appreciate that. I think he's going to hold guys accountable. And, De'Aaron, super happy to be playing with DeMar DeRozan by all accounts. And speaking of numbers, how about Jalen Brunson? Is there a more made man in New York than Jalen Brunson? He took a $100 million haircut on this contract. He could have waited to sign his extension, but instead he signs it this year, $155 million, about 100 less than he could have gotten to allow the Knicks. And by the way, he studied what some of the other New York greats in the past had done. Your Derek Jeters, some of them, about what you have to do as a star in a big market to have a winning team. And so now the onus is back on the Knicks to make a move and really cement what could be a solid championship window for them for the next couple years. But Jalen Brunson, that guy will never have to buy another dinner in New York. That guy will never have to buy another drink in the Big Apple. That guy is a made man. See what the Warriors are offering for Larry. Yeah, I have seen it. It's the Warriors have to do that. The Warriors are desperate. I mean, literally desperate to get a big name, not only to energize the fan base, because losing Clay is a big deal to that fan base. He's a day one guy. He's been the other side of the Splash Brothers. And whether you admit it or not, Clay sells a lot of merch for them too. And so then you've got the accountability to Steph Curry as well. Can you put a winning product on the court without sacrificing Steph's last probably 4 good years in the NBA? I mean, that's what it is. When Steph Curry, and I don't disagree with it, when Steph Curry, because you've seen the reports from people in the Warriors organization, they believe he will retire a Warrior, but it's going to be a full-blown rebuild once Steph retires. There's no doubt about that. So you might as well go all in for now. Get him what you can. By the way, C-Dog, dude, I didn't see you pop up there. What's up, Connor? How you doing today?
What's up, Ry-doe? How you doing?
Good, man. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of chime in on that top 100 athletes list we were talking about off the air.
Yeah.
I always like kind of chopping it up with these lists because it always seems like they're never right and there's always a lot of problems with them.
No doubt. For anybody that's not familiar, ESPN is currently releasing their top 100 athletes of this century, of the 2000s and beyond. So we are through 100 to 76, right, C-Dog?
Yeah.
So let me run them down really quick. I won't stay on them too long. 100, Charles Woodson. 99, Ed Reed. And then you got 98, Connor McDavid. I bet that's going to be your point of contention. I'll stop right there. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that sticks out to me because I just don't understand. Yeah, he hasn't won the cup yet. He came as close as you can this year, but he already has 3 MVP trophies. He's a points leader. He's already scored 100 points 7 times in 9 seasons. And you can't tell me there's 97 athletes better since the year 2000 when some of the other people on the lists are people I've never even heard of from other sports and the WNBA. It doesn't make sense to me.
You know what? I'm so glad you brought that up because I was trying to think about how to bring it up in a respectful way, a subtle way, but I don't disagree with you. And no disrespect to any of the WNBA stars that are on here. There are some ones that you recognize. Cheryl Swoops, to name one of them. But it feels like maybe it's more of a have to put some WNBA players in there. You there, C-Dog?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. It feels like maybe they kind of had to throw some of those names in there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and the first thing I noticed after looking at the 25 names they've had so far, it seems like there's like a clear bias towards, it seems, football, basketball, and baseball players, and every other sport is kind of just thrown in there. Like some of the soccer players, the guy at, I think he's at 97, is like the best cricket player of all time. I know
Yes.
cricket's not like a big thing here, but it just seems kind of disrespectful. He's the only cricket player I've ever heard of, and yet he's at 97.
Yep. And they've got Russell Wilson's sister listed at number 90. She's a WNBA player. She's won a gold medal, two-time WNBA MVP. She's a great player, but I don't think even her accomplishments on the court don't trump what Connor McDavid has done on the ice at this point in their careers.
Yeah, and it's really hard to compare across different sports, and especially across like WNBA, NBA, and stuff like that. But the guy right below her is Aaron Rodgers, a 4-time MVP,
Right.
Super Bowl champion. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep. And yeah, Chris Paul, as Adam is referencing, he's at 83. Other notables, Cheryl Swoops, 81. Andy Murray, tennis player, number 80. Bryce Harper, 79. Bernard Hopkins, 80. You've got Shelly Ann Fraser Price, track and field from Jamaica. I am not familiar with her. Anybody in the chat? Not 100% sure. And then 76, George St. Pierre. I don't mind him being at 76. He is such a nice guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him 10 years ago in Vegas.
Yeah, what do you think about Chris Paul being above Kawhi Leonard?
It's unreal.
He has 2 championships. Chris Paul has 0. Should end right there.
It ends right there. And I get it. Here's the thing. Both of them can't stay on the court in the playoffs anymore. And Chris Paul really hasn't done anything really in the playoffs. I mean, arguably his best playoff run was when he was with the Hornets.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think he's going to get anywhere near that with San Antonio. I know that that's a really good fit for the people around him, but I don't see how that's going to help his own legacy.
I agree. You know, another interesting list, by the way, check this out. And I think the chat will have some fun with this. They came out with a list of the top 5 fan bases in sports. Like if you had to like name the top 5 fan bases in sports, like what would be the top 5 to you right now, C-Dog?
That's really hard. I mean,
Right?
just off the top of my head, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers probably, the yellow towels and everything. They always show up. NBA, I mean, as much as I really don't like Philly fans, I think the Sixers have a really good fan base. I'm not sure that they're very likable, but I mean, that's what makes fan bases fan bases.
Exactly.
Baseball, I don't know if there's anybody better than the Yankees, the bleacher creatures. They always show up, and that's a crazy atmosphere.
No doubt. So if we narrowed it down to football, because then they even went subcategories in football. The top 5, you said Pittsburgh, they were a top. Number 2, who was number 2? Number 2 was Dallas. Number 3 was was it Green Bay? It's Green Bay. It was a New York team. I'll look it up right now, but I thought it's an interesting conversation. CT Dog says number 1 is the Yankees across the board in sports. They've got to be in there, but it's fun, dude. We should come up with our own list, C Dog.
Yeah, was there no 12th man in there? You would think that they'd have to be up there.
Right? They were not. They were honorable mention. Oh, that was the other surprise. Raiders Nation was left out of that. And I don't know how the hell you leave Raiders Nation out, because not only are they there when it's good, they're there when it's bad, and they're there when you move cities multiple times.
Yeah, I know that's what you like to pick out when it's Raiders and Niners. The difference is there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we will keep looking down these lists, especially the ESPN one, as they keep getting announced, brother. Any thoughts on the Kings right now or what they're doing in Summer League?
Yeah, I'm not paying attention too much just because without Devin Carter, it's not really like a must-see thing in my opinion. I know there's some guys like what are there, three different Joneses, Mason, Colby, and Isaac. And I know some of these guys, Keon Ellis is the main guy you're looking at because he's going to have the biggest role on the big team when the season starts. But I've been just kind of looking at other guys around the league. I'm following my UConn guys, obviously, but there's not a whole lot sticking out so far to Summer League other than Bronny James getting all the headlines.
Yeah, and Steph Castle apparently is going to be shut down for the rest of Summer League, I'm hearing.
Yeah, he's got a wrist injury. It's tough, but in the couple appearances, he looks pretty good. So I'm glad that they're shutting him down so it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah, 100%. There are Reed Shepherd has looked good. That's a trendy one. Mateus Buzelis for the Bulls. He's looked pretty good, as they should. I mean, Reed Shepherd, he's kind of got a little bit of that Kevin Huerter in him, but I think he's a little bit more skilled than Kevin was coming out.
Yeah, he's really athletic. He had the highest vertical at the combine, and when you have that combination of shooting and be able to attack the basket like that, it's a lethal combo.
No doubt, dude. Well, hey, it's great talking to you as always. Thanks for giving us a call.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See you later.
All right. Sounds good. That is C-Dog, my man C-Dog. Okay, look, I know that I said I was going to go to the Ry-doe wheel, but I don't want to take the chance of this one not coming up. So act like I'm spinning the wheel. Don't. All right, here we go. It is, so check this out. Cat owners are tripping. They are. We've had this conversation here on the King's Court too many times. Cat owners, especially if you're a dude on your own, it's a little bit weird. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not judging you. It's just a little bit weird. But just here was another reason why it's not a good idea to own a cat. It's not. Check this out. This comes from the UK. Check this out. I'm lucky to be alive after sustaining car crash injuries, tripping over my cat. And I'm looking at a picture of a guy in a neck brace in a hospital bed with a bald cat sitting right next to him. He suffered catastrophic injuries. A UK man miraculously survived after sustaining a broken neck, fractured spine, smashed ribs, blood in his lungs, and other car crash evoking injuries. Wait for it. Tripping over his cat. Quote, I can't remember much, just falling fast. It was quick and it was over within seconds. Then I was at the bottom. Victim Chris Raleigh told the Mirror, 59 years old. The freak, quote unquote, apocalypse meow accident reportedly occurred on the evening of October 23rd while the Leicestershire-based professional musician was home alone with his hairless Egyptian Sphinx cat. What are we doing here? Hairless Egyptian Sphinx kitten? And it's a kitten? What? Further, disaster struck after the wrinkly kitty, apparently feeling playful, dove out and latched onto his owner's legs while he was coming down the stairs. Bingo! That's my point. Dogs don't do that stuff. Yeah, they get excited when you come home. Yes, they drool. Yes, they shed everywhere. But one thing I can count on is my 100-pound dog is not jumping out from an empty bedroom and scaring the crap out of me like cats do. That is my point. Yeah, you could say, well, they're low maintenance. They don't require all the attention, yada, yada, yada. But they're always looking to pounce. They're looking to scratch. They're looking to nip, like to the point where they're jumping at people with stairs. It took a big chunk out of my leg. Then I lost my footing. Remember, this was a kitten. This wasn't a big ass cat. This was a kitten. A kitten, y'all. A kitten. Not a bobcat. Not a mountain lion. Not a cougar. Not a leopard. An Egyptian Sphinx bald kitten. Whoa. He reportedly tumbled down 14 steps before arriving at the bottom, where he lay unable to move when his feline put the hell in Hello Kitty. So, do me a favor. I get you could trip over your dogs, right? It could happen. I'll be fair there. But at least it will be your fault if you trip over the dog. Again, cat person, just another reason why I choose dogs over cats. You can't argue it anymore. Find me something else. I mean, did you guys see the picture of Gordon Ramsay where his entire side was all bruised up and he was in bad shape after a bike accident? This guy looks worse. The massively injured man didn't realize the extent of his injuries at the time. Okay, I'm not buying that. Hold on. Let's go back to this. What did they say his injuries were? It sounded like something out of Dodgeball. Hold on. A broken neck, a fractured spine, a smashed ribs, blood in his lungs, and other car crash evoking injuries, yet you didn't know you were that hurt? There's no way. And then on top of that, dude's phone was dead, so he couldn't do anything but lay at the bottom of the stairs while the kitty continued to lick his face. Need I say more? My Ry-doe is cat person. And what did that cat just cost you? Like 500 grand in medical bills? At what point does the cat say, just put the guy down? I mean, just put him down. He had fractured ribs, a broken spine and neck. My goodness. Try to top that. How do you, seriously, cat people, how do you explain that? It's playful. They just like to jump out at people, latch onto you, take chunks out of your legs. Come on, man. Come on. Let's get to the reaction. Appreciate it, MC. Happy to be here. I appreciate all the support, buddy. Bobsled team in Jamaica. Interesting. The wheel is rigged. No, it's not. It's not rigged. What are you talking about, Haunted Horse? You heard that. Derek's with me. Bane, I can't. Oh, you're a cat person, Bane? Oh, Bane. Let's see, Mark. Maybe cats think their owners have 9 lives. Well played there, Mark. Good job.
Real men of genius.
Dogs rule, cats rule. MC is on my side. Zakara, no, he's saying dogs are overrated. A lot of work. Cats take care of themselves and don't smell like shit 24/7. What kind of dogs have you been around that smell like crap? You got to have indoor dogs. Okay. And if you have an outdoor dog and you're bringing the dog inside, you give the dog a bath. It's that simple. I mean, I will maintain this. When you walk into somebody's house that owns cats, you know they own cats. And here comes Haunted Horse coming at me, I'm sure, in the chat. My house doesn't smell like litter. My house doesn't. No, dude. I can smell a cat owner from a mile away. Literally a mile away. Cats always wake you up. Yeah, I'm telling you, that is an expensive cat. Men that own cats, red flag. Yes, sir, BJ. Yes, sir, indeed.
Real men of genius.
Yeah, in there I'm thinking I liked bald cats. You should see the picture of this thing, MC. I wish I could put it up right now. It's like it literally looks like Mr. Bigglesworth. That's what it looks like. He dodged, he ducked, dipped, dived, and dove. Yeah. Can you imagine Kevin Harlan on the call of that one? Not trying to make fun of or make light of this guy's injuries, but man, that's a bad situation. That is a bad situation. You know, Derek Grant, I can say this. I know he has a dog. So score one in the column of the good guys, dog person. And then also a turtle. You don't know about the turtle. He's put the turtle on, I believe, YouTube before. Check that out. It's pretty funny. Finchy says, my house smells like chocolate chip cookies. Can't argue with that. Chocolate chip cookies. All right, fair enough. So anyways, we've had our fun with the cats, but you know, anytime I see a cat story, I'm going to pounce all over it because they just don't do it for me. I'm sorry. And you know why? Here's the problem. We're going to be cat people. Haunted Horse knows this. I saw some of the chat at the top asking about Gordo. Yes, once Gordo is no longer here, fortunately, hopefully that's no time soon, we are going to be cat people. But with a big caveat, huge caveat. The little man is taking care of the cats. It's no more, hey, you know, you got to feed the fish and then you don't feed the fish. And he tried to find the back door on that too. He's like, can we get 2 cats? One will be yours and one will be mine. No. Smart play, by the way. Super smart. Yeah, that's right. Flash the turtle to the 10. You remember that one, John? That was really funny. Mark, I have 2 dogs named Posey and one named Mocha. Dogs are the best. Yes, he is Team Cat. I know. He tried to pull a fast one by saying 1 cat will be yours and then 1 will be mine. So he could pull the, hey, mom and dad, take care of your cat. Oh, by the way, can you just take care of that too? No, son. No, you're going to be 10 years old. You got to learn responsibility, kiddo. So anyways, big weekend in sports. We got some more Ry-does coming up in a little bit. Let's go over some of the NBA projected win totals. Celtics, top of the league, 57.5. Thunder, right behind them, 54.5. So the one that I have circled, I'm going to go on the record right now, literally right now, 2:53 p.m. I'm going to write it down, 7:15. Behind the Celtics and behind the Thunder in win totals are the Minnesota Timberwolves at 52.5. Not only am I going under, I'm going way under. I don't think the Timberwolves win 45 games this year. I think the Timberwolves are going to regress this year. I think Anthony Edwards will continue his progress, but the Gobert Towns thing will not continue working out. You saw some of the stuff in the playoffs with Towns not doing particularly great from beyond the 3-point line. Here's the other thing. What about Mike Conley? You got to start thinking about filling that position as well. Obviously, Jared McLaughlin ends up here in Sacramento now. Monty McNair talked about him a little bit the other day as well with Jason Ross. But I don't think Minnesota has another run like last year in them. In fact, I think they're going to be kind of like the Atlanta Hawks of about 5 years ago, where they won a ton of regular season games and then come the playoffs, nada. I know they made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. I think it was a single run. I don't see Minnesota bouncing back. Grant will call me crazy. Everybody else, call me crazy. I don't think Minnesota's here to stay. In fact, if I have to choose between Minnesota and Dallas, I'm going Dallas over Minnesota easily. And they've got the Mavericks way down the list at 50.5 wins. So 2.5 wins behind Minnesota. You see something behind me. Is that a bobblehead? Whose bobblehead is that? Really? Okay. All right. Story time really quick with Ry-doe. Yes, somebody for my 40th birthday, somebody close to me, they got me a 40th anniversary bobblehead of myself. Yes, that is a Ryan in Sacktown bobblehead. The thought, really cool. Really love it. My brother, one of my best friends, great idea. Looks cool. But having your own bobblehead is really vain. It's really vain. I'm not going to lie. So if you want to call me a Delta Bravo, feel free to call me a Delta Bravo for putting that up. But it is from my brother, and I so appreciate it. And yes, that is a Ryan in Sacktown bobblehead. One of a kind, by the way, a 1 out of 1. Should we send it to PSA and have it graded? What do you think PSA will come back and give the Ryan in Sacktown bobblehead? A 10 out of 10? Nah, I think that's probably a grade. If I'm looking back, well, the outfit, probably a 7. You got a horse. I don't want a horse. Oh, horse, you're making me do it. There it is. The Ryan in Sacktown bobblehead. Yes. Yes. Feast your eyes. Feast your eyes. Delta Bravo right there. I know, Bane. I know, brother. Yep. I believe it. Delta Bravo. I'm telling you, man. But no, I definitely do appreciate it from my brother. Not too vain. It is a gift. Yes. Got to put it up, though, because it is from my brother. No, Nick and Sierra, very cool gift. Thank you very much. Love you both. Very nice of you. Maybe we will get it graded. Probably put a beam over it. LOL. Yeah, right. Let's see. Flores, what's up? A 50-win season pretty much can guarantee you a playoff spot. 2 or top 6, though. Thoughts? That's a good question, Flores. We were talking win totals last week with Grant and some of you on one of the night shows. I think it's going to be 51 or 52 wins. That would have to, yeah, you're right on the fringe, Flores. That's a great question. Does 50 guarantee you a 6 seed? 46 got you into the play-in this year. Does the Western Conference regress at all? Does it get better? If it does regress, where does it regress at? I don't know. Yeah, I think 50 gets you a 6 seed, Flores. The more I think about it, 50 gets you a 6, and probably 53 has you in the top 4. Has you hosting a home court first round series. Does your bobblehead have a Boogie jersey? No, it doesn't, Derek. It's just a Kings. It is a Kings pullover. Yes. I kind of got a sick of Edwards is the next MJ. It's the first playoff run, too. Yeah, no, CT Dog. Anthony Edwards, to me, he's a flashback. I've said it so many times. Straight from the 90s. It is out of a time machine. Would have been amazing to watch him go up against Kobe, go up against Jordan, go up against some of those great 2 guards. Mitch Richmond, there's another name. He's great. I think that he's going to need a lot more help, though, in different spots. The help that Minnesota gave him last year, the burn rate we talk about with Sabonis, the burn rate that we talk about with De'Aaron Fox that we saw this year, where you just go to the well too much and you don't have enough options around you. That, to me, was Minnesota down the stretch in the playoffs. Everything was great when their role players were hitting threes. When they weren't, it was a wreck. And so, to me, they need to balance the floor a little bit more offensively. You don't get much from Gobert. Towns is the wild card. In fact, I know ownership in Minnesota is on record saying this. They are actually going to be reevaluating the roster, regardless of making the Western Conference Finals. And that's not your GM reevaluating the roster. That is ownership reevaluating the roster. So to me, that was, hey, we're going to look if Towns is really the right fit here, because that's a big paycheck that you're paying Karl-Anthony Towns. And a lot of times the guy can't stay on the court. But Anthony Edwards, special player. So because of that, yes, they will be good. I just don't think they're going to be as good as last year. I think that other teams, I think the Western Conference is going to be the dominant conference like we saw. I know Boston came out and won the championship this last year, but think back to like the 2000s, 2002, where if you won the West, you were almost guaranteed to win the championship. I'm feeling things are swinging back that way, even though you're going to have a powerhouse in New York. You're going to have a powerhouse in Boston. Philadelphia, paging Philadelphia. Paul George, does he take you over the top? Yeah, I think those teams will be here for another year or two, but as more time goes along, I think the power shifts even more to the Western Conference because of the contracts, the age of some of their guys, and then also the CBA. We've talked about the aprons. Teams had to get under this year, and they're going to continue to get under as this year goes along. If you see teams that are struggling, that are in that first apron, hell, a team in the second apron that has a prolonged period of struggle, then you're going to see owners look to make moves quicker than you normally would. That's just the way that I see it. But we will see. That's what's so exciting to me about basketball season. I can't wait for it to come back. Summer League does not do it for me. Does the Kings, big three, all make the All-Star game? No, I don't see any way all three of them make the All-Star team, short of the Kings coming out and having an unbelievable, and I mean unbelievable first half, but I would be really surprised if you got 3-2, would not surprise me. And if you had to bet right now, let's ask the question. If the Kings were going to get 2 All-Stars out of this current roster, which 2 do you think it is? I know it seems like an easy question, but I don't think it's as easy as it seems on the surface. Minnesota didn't have enough offense, exactly what I was trying to say. Playing against Golden State helped Sabonis redeem himself to a degree. Now, Sabonis, again, I've said this all off season. I'll say it again. A lot of the shortcomings that the Kings had last year, even though they somewhat fall on him because of limitations offensively, you got to take a step back and realize Domantas Sabonis just didn't have the help. He didn't have it. You have De'Aaron Fox, and when Fox wasn't on the court, there wasn't much creation going on. And so that's the problem, and that's what DeMar DeRozan brings to this team now. You have a third person that can facilitate, but more important than that was Sabonis. If he can just confidently shoot a three consistently, confidently take a mid-range jumper and be able to knock it down, that is going to change everything for the rest of your Kings and the way that they are guarded. Because right now, the reason the DHO was not really as sharp as it was in 22-23 is because players hung off of Sabonis defensively. So if Sabonis can work that in, again, doesn't have to be a ton of threes, doesn't have to be a ton of mid-range. If he can just work that in a little bit and do it confidently, it changes what the offense looks like for Sacramento and what opens up for Sacramento, in my opinion. And having DeMar DeRozan, you can almost run a too high look where you can run that DHO off of either side. You can cross them over. You can go high-low. There is a lot of stuff you can do, and that's why I'm excited to see all of those guys get together and get on the same page as we get closer and closer to the NBA season, NFL coming up. By the way, Home Run Derby tonight. Jay, I don't know if you're out there, but one of your Oregon State alumni is selected number 1 in the Major League Draft by the Cleveland Guardians. So credit to you and your university. How about Carlos Alcaraz winning Wimbledon? He goes back-to-back French Open, Wimbledon, and not only that, he does it in straight sets. Yes, straight sets over Novak Djokovic. By the way, is this the changing of the guard in tennis? Here's a couple clips from Alcaraz winning Wimbledon this last weekend.
The young king of centre court retains the crown.
3 sets to love. 6-2, 6-2, 7-6.
A master craftsman at 21 years of age.
Pretty cool scene at Wimbledon. Alcaraz finally getting the Wimbledon championship. What was a surprising final? Anybody have Novak going down in straight sets? You got to think the knee, the surgically repaired meniscus played into that. Credit for him being on the court at all playing in Wimbledon, but it is a changing of the guard, in my opinion, in tennis now, and a guy to watch who's going to be the next contender that can come up and play with Alcaraz. I just love the way the guy plays the game, the emotion, what you didn't see there, him screaming out. It's fun at 21 years old. Something about it. Tennis does not get enough run. And then also another thing from this weekend, which we touched on at the top, was Copa America. Argentina wins the Copa America Cup. Here is your game-winning goal.
Lo Celso sliding through there and went for an extra long slot on the still very wet grass. Lo Celso, Lautaro Martinez, Lautaro Martinez!
The quality to...
Okay, so I don't know who. Raise your hand, even though I can't see if you watched the Copa America final last night. I told you at the top I was going to give it a chance. I wasn't sure if I would actually enjoy it, but I gave it the time of day, and I couldn't have made a bigger mistake. If you're a soccer fan, Dog, I know you love soccer. I know there's some of you out there, NBA guru, you pay attention to soccer. It's unwatchable right now. Soccer is literally unwatchable within 5 minutes of the match beginning. And I know this is an easy knock, like literally an easy knock on soccer about the flopping and the flailing and laying on the ground like you need a stretcher, right? Well, it was in full effect last night, and I was expecting that. Look, I understood that's part of the game now. What makes it worse is that the announcers for soccer, they don't call it straight. They're like, oh, yeah, like they show replays. In fact, I posted a few of those replays to my X account where these guys were barely touched, in some cases not touched at all, and you have these 3, 4, 5-minute delays in the action where the trainer comes out and they're spraying stuff. And I know Messi, that's the one I'm thinking of. I'm not trying to project on him exactly or specifically, but you have these long delays where they are replaying the play. And you clearly see the player was not even touched, not in the slightest bit. Yet somebody is laying on the ground and it looks like the helicopter is going to have to come in and pick them up. I anticipated that. The announcers, though, I didn't. I had to turn it off. And it's not at any fault of their own. It's the way that it's the culture of the game. It is what it is. I realize it's a part of the chess match that is soccer. But I don't want to see replays that clearly show, dude, didn't get touched. There's no reason you should be laying down. And then this is what got me. The complaining to the referee. Did you see that poor referee last night? He looked like an adult throwing candy out to children. Like there were that many players around him. They were just begging for calls, and it got so old and so quick to the point where the ref is having to push guys off, to the point where the game is getting delayed because of it. And then as we get into the latter stages of the game, this was the worst to me. The worst, and I complained about this, to be fair, with hockey. I complained about this when the puck went into the corner and guys would just kind of huddle up around the puck. You saw Florida run out the clock a couple times in the Stanley Cup Finals doing that. Well, let's turn to last night. How about the goalie for Argentina? Dude was straight up laying on the soccer ball for a good 15, 20 seconds. Then he stood up, shined it off. Then he walked as slow as he could over to the line. Oh, no, I'm not going to put it there. Oh, maybe I should just adjust it a little bit. Oh, maybe I should just move it a little bit. Before you know it, it's like a minute and a half of the game clocks off. And this is supposed to be like the last-ditch effort for Colombia to come back and win this thing. And instead, you have a ref that is having to tell this guy, hey, play the game. And then you get past that part of it. And then the ref gets caught in the middle of another play where it's in the goal box for Colombia. It was their literal last-ditch effort to score. And they're trying to, I don't know, explain it to me. It seemed like trying to get them to review something upstairs. What I'm saying is the stoppages, the player complaining, the flops, which I expected, being totally transparent, expected the flops. But the other gamemanship made last night unbearable. It made it unwatchable, and it made it completely uninteresting to the point where I don't even care about the World Cup anymore. I don't care if the Americans get to the finals. As I sit right now, I don't want to watch another minute of soccer. I am open to reconsidering, but if last night was one of the best examples of what soccer is supposed to be, I understand why it's not getting run in the States. It was pathetic. And that was all stuff that happened on the pitch. That's not even everything else with people crawling through the vents and over security gates and through children. Look, there's a word I want to use, but I'm not going to use it. It was an awful, awful representation of what soccer is supposed to be at its best. I was embarrassed for both teams. It was terrible to me. BJ chiming in. Soccer isn't a sport to me when I see all the theatrical bullshit. I'll tell you what, I saw a comment in the chat when we talked about soccer about 20 minutes ago that made a reference to hockey. There are a lot of similarities between the two games. Look, the skill level that it takes, I was blown away. Think about if you just go out onto a field and you're kicking a soccer ball around with somebody, stopping the ball in a place to where you can control it when it comes to you. That's a hard skill. That's all touch. That's like shooting a finger roll. In basketball, respect. I respect those skills that it takes, the passing, the precision, the speed, how these guys stop on the drop of a dime. In those ways, soccer is very similar to hockey, but that's where it ends. Everything else couldn't be more different. There's no flopping in hockey. It was pathetic. So I could see where soccer could be a little bit more desirable to watch if they clean some stuff off. But for me, I'm done with it. Yeah, happy to have you call in if you want, Dorian. We can put that in for you right there. Let's see. No. I'll give you the initial, LB. LB were the two words. One started with L and the second started with B. You can do the math from there. LeBron in soccer is unbearable to watch. Don't disagree. Mark, all goalies do that when it's the end of the game and they are ahead. I get it, but it's okay. Just take the time off the clock then. I don't know. I guess I don't get soccer. I'm not a traditionalist. Maybe Dorian can explain it to me. My man Dorian, what's up, dude? How you doing today?
Ryan, great to see you, brother. I
Good to
appreciate
see you too, brother.
Yeah, I'd love to get on the conversation. I really started respecting soccer, back in 2015. As you know, I played football, Division I. I was a big 49er fan. I was a big Giants baseball fan. and the Kings and Mexico soccer specifically have become my two favorite sports teams to watch. And just like you were saying, in soccer, flopping and this whole theatrical thing, and the goalie sitting on the ball for seconds on seconds, I totally understand that. But it's the same thing in basketball, right? I mean, you have so much flopping going on in basketball. You look at replays, it's like, man, how did you that wasn't that big of a foul? And yeah, I watched a little bit of the Stanley Cup for hockey, and I respect hockey. I respect all sports. I think Americans don't give soccer the respect, and I don't think they give, specifically Americans, people that live here in the United States. I don't think they give soccer the opportunity to really, the patience to really understand how beautiful of a sport it is. Soccer is still the most popular sport in the world internationally. I mean, I'm not sure I'm sure that you're aware, being that you do sports and stuff like that. But for Latin Americans to come over to the US, specifically in Miami, and to have that much passion to support the Colombian team and the Argentinian team, and after all the whole ticket fiasco and all the chaos and everything, I think that really just goes to show from a fan perspective how passionate people are about their countries and soccer specifically. I mean, I don't know if the US right now is set up to host a World Cup of this magnitude, especially, when you have so many Mexicans that live in America, you have so many Latin Americans that live in America.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if I think the US has a soccer problem because of US soccer. I think if the team was better, I think if there wasn't as so much drama with the US Soccer Federation, I mean, I love watching the US women's soccer. They are a favorite of mine than the US men's national soccer team. But I feel like if Americans were to like zoom out a little bit and go to a different country and really go to a Latin American match or go to a European match, I really believe that Americans would have a different perspective on what soccer really is as a sport coming back in America. Obviously, you have football, you have basketball, you have baseball. Those are the three main sports here in America. I think Americans don't have enough patience to watch soccer. And soccer isn't a very offensive sport, right? You have one, yesterday, right? You have the 1-0 game.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tough sometimes for people that are used to watching points and touchdowns and home runs all the time. I feel like Americans need to give soccer a better chance, in my opinion.
So did you attend matches live when
I've only been to one soccer game live. That was a Mexico-USA game where Mexico won 3-2 in Los Angeles, I've been to hundreds and hundreds of Kings game. I went to every Kings playoff game, and that was by far the most incredible sporting experience I've ever experienced in my life. And it was a World Cup qualifying game where Mexico won 3-2.
And so that's why I asked, is it more of the experience as a whole than actually what you're watching on the field?
I think it's part of it, right? Because,
on the pitch.
I think it's part of what makes the whole sport, the whole sport a sport, right? Because you can have passion for a team. You could be a loyal Kings fan after 16 years of terrible basketball. But when you watch something so beautiful, when you respect someone that could do some amazing things with a soccer ball and the goals, I mean, maybe I just have a different perspective on it, and I'm patient and I don't really care so much about the offensive thing. I just really respect the sport. But to your point, though, I think the experience, the anticipation leading up to the game, leading up to the match, I think that adds to the sporting experience.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, so I have to disagree about the flopping in soccer compared to like the NBA, NFL, etc. I get the guys flop in basketball, but it's not to that degree where it's stopping the game. Like the game has to stop, right?
Yeah.
And then also it's for me, Dorian, it's hard because it's acting just as much as it is sport. Like I almost felt like there was an aspect of professional wrestling into it last night with the commentators playing along. And so I get the skill part. I want to acknowledge that. Like some of the passing, stopping the ball, the guy that was able to dribble over somebody by the way that he was able to field it from a pass, incredible But
Yeah.
it sucks that those incredible things get overshadowed with all the BS. And I've got to think in my heart of hearts, soccer fans can't like it either.
Yeah,
Or-
no, for sure. For someone that's a soccer fan like myself, I don't watch European soccer. I did watch the Euro Cup this year. I love the World Cup. I love international soccer. I'm a big Chivas Guadalajara fan. My grandpa played for the Chivas a long time ago, and maybe I just have that connection with soccer.
Yeah.
But to your point, there is a lot of flopping. I mean, the amount of stuff that the referees have to go through in a
Oh boy.
crazy match like that. I
Holy
mean,
crap.
it's dangerous, it's because these guys get really, really, really emotional. They get up in the referee's face. Granted, there is time that gets added on past the 45th and 90th minute, for stoppage time. But yeah, man, I just wish people would give soccer more of an opportunity, and be a little bit more patient with it. I think Fox. Did you watch the stream on Fox?
Yes.
Even if you don't speak Spanish and you don't understand Spanish, you have to watch soccer matches in the Spanish stream.
Okay.
They show much more of the crowd environment. They show much more of like what's going on the field. It's a different perspective from a Spanish stream than it is an American stream. And I've watched both. I really enjoy
Okay, that's fair.
both Fox Soccer and TUDN, TUDN in Mexico. Like you have to watch the Spanish stream and whenever whenever it's a goal, it just there's so much more anticipation, and it's really like when Grant, if you don't like that, you don't like Kings basketball. It's similar to when somebody scores and the announcer just can say goal for 15-20 seconds.
Yeah,
It's really,
yeah.
really incredible. Yeah, you have to watch the Spanish stream.
Okay. I'll check that out, dude. I appreciate I don't want to be hard on the sport,
No,
but
you're entitled to your own opinion, of course.
I just thought last night was terrible representation on a big stage across the board
Understandable.
for soccer.
And I feel really bad for the families and especially for the kids, man.
Yes.
That spent
spot
so
on.
much money. I mean, the average ticket, man, was
$1,500.
$1,500, $2,000, man. Can you believe that? I mean, a family
Incredible.
of four, you're down. That's $6,000, man. And for these kids that look up to Messi, that look up to James Rodriguez, who plays for Colombia. I mean, these are elite athletes, elite soccer players, internationally known. For that to happen and for them to not be able to watch, their childhood hero or not be able to watch the game live after spending so much money, I feel really bad. That would just be like you and I going and not being able to get into Arco and to watch Bibby or Weber, Oh man, that would have crushed me if I was a kid.
Yep. I feel you, brother. Hey, I appreciate the call. Thanks, Dorian.
Thank you,
Be
Ryan.
well.
Keep up the great work, brother.
Thank you, brother. It's my man, Dorian. Good seeing him. Dorian's such a good dude. Glad he called in. Good perspective. I appreciate that. So watch the Spanish stream. I've seen some of the Spanish streams off and on. Some of the best calls have definitely come from the Latino streams. Argentina's when they won the World Cup, that one was pretty legendary. I know that goal went on forever. I think he started crying too. But here's what I would do. If I was Copa America and I was organizing the tournament, for some of those, not even for some of the families, I'm refunding money for the people that paid. If you paid that much money to get in the building, I mean, I don't know if any of you saw some of the stuff online, kids crying, kids being basically squished up against rails, being walked over. I mean, anybody that's been in those situations know that is a dangerous situation. Very dangerous situation. People get trampled to death. Don't want to be too serious here, but Dorian brings up a really good point. I would, if you spent the money to take your kids to that, especially dished out that much money, what a bad experience for them. Hopefully they can clean it up before the World Cup starts. Getting a lot of talk about MLB versus soccer as well. By the way, home run derby tonight. Saw some Paul Skeens talk. Kevin, I was shocked that they didn't let him go after the no-hitter. I mean, that guy threw over 100 pitches all the time in college, all the time at LSU. And I know you got to be, I don't know what the classy about it. You got to handle it the right way as a player, but there's got to be some disappointment that they pulled him back. But hell of a story for him. Looks like he's going to be starting the All-Star game. Dominant pitcher. Usually those are the type of guys start in small market, end up with the Yankees. We'll see if that ends up happening. But yes, home run derby tonight. By the way, I put it on the Ry-doe wheel, but I'm not sure that I want to rant about it because it does involve kids. But with home run derby tonight, you remember last year, it's been a traditional thing where they have kids in the outfield, ball boys and ball girls catching the non-home runs, the foul balls, whatever it be, the flyouts. But that's also kind of dangerous too. Where do you guys come out on that? And I know it's a big debate. Should kids be out there, or should there be an age limit or an age minimum to have kids out there? Because those balls come fast. Those balls come quick, and there's not just one ball in play. There can be multiple balls in play at the same time. You could be looking to field a ball that was hit 15 seconds before that's still rolling into the outfield, and then have a line drive come hit you in the head. So it makes me a little bit jumpy with the kids out there fielding them. I don't know what their plans are for tonight, but I do know this. You've got the odds out for home run derby. Pete Alonso plus 300, Gunnar Henderson plus 400, Bobby Witt Jr. plus 425, Hernandez plus 1,200, Adolis Garcia plus 550. Okay. And then you got Marcel Ozuna plus 480, Jose Ramirez. See that? I rolled my tongue. My wife taught me how to do that. Jose Ramirez plus 1,600, and Alec Boom plus 2,200. What do you think? Who's going to take it home today? I miss the old day home run derbies when the big names participated. I know they've tried to revamp that a bit. My pleasure, dude. Appreciate you calling in, Dorian. Love having you on here. Mark, you mean the kids fighting over the ball? Someone's definitely going to get hurt sometime. No, not the kids fighting over the ball. They have kids in the outfields fielding the balls that don't go over the fence. Those ones make me nervous. There was a kid last year that was hurt pretty good because one of the fly balls caught him in the head. Yeah, not a good thing. So home run derby's fun. I always think about the Ken Griffey Jr. Super Nintendo game. I know I'm probably stuck into like BJ here, Corn Dog. The Super Nintendo home run derby on Ken Griffey Jr. baseball was incredible. That's right up there with some of the great sports video games of all time. But yeah, a lot going on in the world of sports. Grant and I will be back tonight at 8 o'clock, a little bit more precise, a little bit more in-depth in sports. Obviously, here on the King's Court, we have a little fun, operate in the gray areas, got to get our dog smack in, let you know when bad things happen with cats. Just kidding, on it, horse. I know you're upset about that, buddy. Just watch out. I don't want you to trip over your cat. That's why I picked that story. But we are brought to you by Bennett's West Side Grill in Rockland. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Check out their other locations. Of course, this is the West Side Grill in the Blue Oaks Town Center. That's their third location, but they're also located in Roseville and Sacramento. By the way, don't forget, tonight, you got the Wine and Dine special, $65. Bottle of wine, 2 entrees, and good entrees. Not talking about, the cheaper entrees, the good stuff. Get you in the door. And by the way, go to Bennett's Restaurants. When you do that, you can also, Bennett'sRestaurants.com, you can make the reservations there. You can check out their other specials. They have a great happy hour as well during the week, over 60 different wines by the glass. So huge thanks to Brian and the team at Bennett's West Side Grill for sponsoring the show today. And looking forward to tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Grant and I will be back at it. We'll be talking more Kings. We'll be talking win totals probably. We'll talk a little bit, I'm sure, about soccer, some of the frustrating moments. And then Also, get you ready for the All-Star game. You got Kings basketball tonight against Utah, 7 o'clock from Las Vegas. It's been a big sports weekend. A lot going on, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we're looking forward to a big week here on the King's Court. Jerry Reynolds joining us tomorrow. That'll be a lot of fun. Gonna enjoy that as we always do. By the way, if you have questions for Jerry, you can hit me up in the chat, or you can hit me up on email. You can hit me up on X. Got a little bank of questions going. We're going to do a mailbag episode one of these days, answering some of those. But yes, Jerry Reynolds Tuesday. Looking forward to that very much. And yeah, make it a great rest of the afternoon. I'm going to take the rest of the afternoon off. My voice getting a little scratchy. Got to save it for 8 o'clock. The Ry-does, the cat, the guy that fell over his cat who took a chunk out of his leg, just really tore me up. I just don't have a lot of tolerance for that. But no, I'm looking forward to being with Grant tonight. We get back at it Monday night scrum. So make sure you come back. Thanks to Dorian. Thanks to Adam, everybody in the chat. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and make sure you like the show and make sure you subscribe too. You can find our entire catalog and you can find everything from If You Don't Like That right there. You can scan the QR code and be one of the 7,000 already subscribed. And also, all the special interviews are there too. Those are always a lot of fun. And then before you know it, football season right here around the corner. Probably have Sean Salisbury back on the channel. We'll be starting our fantasy football league. By the way, I got a submission that I thought was pretty funny. Now, I don't think it will fly, but we were talking last week about fantasy football punishments, actually funny ones that if you lose and you're the last person in the league, you got to do it. The submission was they have to do a ESPN The Body version photo shoot or a style like that where you're not naked, but you're darn near close to it. Like, and I'm like, that's kind of funny to think about unless you actually are the loser. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to join that league. We'll see. But hey, we are going to be back. Dude, how can you find a rhino bobblehead? Can we please stop this? That is a one of a kind. I appreciate, again, to my brother Nicholas, I love it. My sister-in-law Sierra, I love it. I just know I'm gonna get a lot of crap from some of you, like this guy, Haunted Horse. But no, it's a cool present. It's one of a kind. Who knows? Maybe I'll give it away someday. Just kidding. We'll see. But maybe we'll get it PSA graded. That'll be fun. So, hey, make sure you come back tonight, 8 o'clock. We're going to be way more in depth with the Kings, way more in depth with everything in sports. And I can't wait to get Grant's opinion on last night and soccer, getting ready for the World Cup. By the way, we didn't even hit on Team USA. I had that on the list to talk about. They only escape Australia in Abu Dhabi today by 6 points, 98-92. Turnovers, an issue there too. Seems to be the problem when you get a new group together playing for the first time as a unit. Kevin Durant, by the way, still not available. Anthony Edwards got the start there. So again, we will talk a lot of sports tonight. Enjoy Home Run Derby. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. You know I love you. Give me a holy moly.
Holy moly, Jimbaboli.
Love it. Go Kings, as BJ would say. Stay away from Levine. Court is dismissed until 8 o'clock when Grant and myself are back. Make sure you come back as well. Have a